No, you don't know me. You don't know me. I bet. We could do
Mm-hmm.
shit. We could do abortion. You want to do abortion?
Abortion? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
pro
What's your
life,
stance on
meaning
abortion,
that
man?
I'm against abortion.
You're
Oh,
pro-life.
okay.
You're against abortion.
Let me
Okay.
say my argument in the chat. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Could
yeah.
someone
Can
record
I
this
say my argument in
conversation?
the chat?
Focus, end the current record and then restart it. Okay.
I was already recording. It's like
Gotcha. And same goes for
Jinx
Professor.
nigga too
I'll just get
trash.
the report button go as well.
I bet.
Yo, Jinx, I have your face by
Oh,
the way, faggot.
my thing is a little laggy, so hold on, right quick.
Okay, cool. Let me just announce this. Give me a sec. Okay. Guys, absolute dog shit, dude. Holy shit.
I bet. I bet. Let me say my argument in the chat. No shade, and then let me get you right. Hold on, right quick, bro.
One sec. Let
Hold
me
on,
just
quick. I
announce this, bro,
got
and
you.
then afterwards I'll just like respond to whatever you're saying. Okay. That cool?
I bet.
Gotcha.
I bet. Can I say my argument now? Oh, oh my gosh. I'm so tired. Senior argument. Oh yeah, that's something to do. I bet. Let me just say my argument here. I got that shit safe. This is my okay. So no, this is the wrong guy. I'm okay. Yes, P1
Okay, so
humans.
where's the argument?
Okay, so P1 look and check. So guys, what the army basically is, right?
Okay.
So P1 is basically meaning that fetuses are still human because they got human DNA, but fetuses are still human, but in a deformed state, meaning that it doesn't physically look like a human, but it got the biologically physics of a human baby. So I'm gonna put a question as: do you agree that your DNA is what you are? Do you agree on that?
I want to understand what the relevancy is of this.
Okay, so
And I don't
okay,
agree that I'm identical to my
the
DNA. I don't think that the
bro,
proper kind of
let me
person
explain. Okay,
identity.
okay. The relevancy of
I
this
don't think the
is
proper
my
account.
pro
Hold on,
life choice.
let
But
me
I believe
properly
that.
let me
Okay, bro, chill, 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 chill,
stop,
chill, chill. Bro, don't
stop,
do that. Please don't
just
do that.
stop.
But I'm not even done. What the fuck?
You
Okay,
asked me a
so
question.
look,
You asked me a
no,
question.
look,
Stop being.
no. You asked me a question. What is the relevance? And I'm trying to give you what is the relevance of
Hey
this
man,
argument. My fault,
hey man.
gentlemen. I'm
I'm
trying
gonna
to,
give you three
bro.
strikes before I start rhetorically violating the fuck out of you. Okay, just stop. Calm down.
Excuse
You
me.
asked me. You asked me if it is
And
the
that's
case
ad
that I
hominem level,
believe.
right? The
Hey man,
relevance of
stop.
this argument
That's
is
the
basically meaning
first
that
strike.
I'm trying to give my reason why
Hey
pro
man,
life is more
stop.
trustable than
You
pro
asked me if
choice.
I'm identical to my human DNA. I'm trying to clarify. I said no. And then I
Okay, I'm
wanted to
put a
give
question
an
to ask.
elaboration. Could I elaborate on
Who's
my
looking for that?
response without you interrupting? Thank you. Yeah, I believe that my kind of personal identity is not going to be something which is going to be captured fully by just my DNA because it is logically possible that it is the case that I could exist without having human DNA. Right.
Okay, okay. Seem like you didn't track. I'm asking, right? Do you agree that your DNA is what you are? I mean that, for example, if your DNA say you are black, then therefore aren't you black? If your DNA and your biological say you black, like, do you agree on that? Just put a
I don't
question
think
there.
DNA is relevant to personhood.
Actually,
Hey man.
okay, that's where my it is because my calculations, right? Okay, so like, do you agree that fetuses are humans, right?
Of course they are.
Okay, cool. Do you agree that killing? I'm sorry, I'm stuck. Do you agree that
Well, if
killing a
they're
human?
human life,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
definitely.
chill. Please don't do
I'm
that.
chill, dude.
Okay, but beautiful. Do you agree that a fetus is right? Is a? Do you agree that? Okay, fuck. I know what I was gonna say, right? Oh yeah. Do you agree that a human being is somebody? Fuck. Oh my god. Oh, I know what I'm trying to say, but hold on, Chris. Someone calling me. Hold on.
Okay, retard.
Is the this debate so good? I'm eating a salad, bro. Amon, please lock in, bro. Please, bro. Hey, look,
I'm trying to explain, right?
Apollo's the dumbest
yeah.
niggas who debates me. I just
Apollo,
can't
shut your
face
bitch
someone
ass
who
up.
can
I
give
don't
me
know
an
why the fuck
Hey,
you
hey,
try to. You
chill,
know what?
chill, chill,
That was
chill.
for me. Bro, why you lie, Mike, bro? They can call me a retard. Okay, but so like I was trying to say, right, is that okay, so I'm trying to explain to you, right, is that P1 humans are in. I'll try to explain why is that like okay, so do oh yeah, that's my question. My question, do you agree that killing a human baby is morally wrong? Do you think you agree that killing a human baby a human that has done nothing to you is morally wrong? Like
Not in all cases.
what do you mean the cases like
So one example is let's say a person who is a school shooter. Just because he's done nothing wrong to me doesn't mean that I would not be
I'm saying
justified in
in
killing him.
general, like done nothing wrong to anybody. That's what I'm putting the question as. Like, do you agree? Done nothing wrong to everybody. He was in his own zone. Did not do nothing to nobody. Did not start shit or still not start no beef with
I agree
nobody.
that's generally the case, but I don't think that's
Yeah, yeah, you agree
universally
that
the
it's
case.
generally wrong, right? If you agree that it's
But
generally
not
wrong, right?
universally, no. Not universally.
Okay, when you say universally, what do you mean by that? I'm putting the question as like,
Do you
what do
not
you
know
mean
what the
by
word
that?
universal means?
I do know, but I'm saying like in your own words, like, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you define as universally in your own terms?
Just something which pertains to all cases.
Okay, so what's gonna be the degree of truth for that? Like, what's gonna be the degree of truth for your argument, and like, how the ontology be the case? This sort of matter. This main point in discussion we're having that transcend the dimensionality of our universe.
Okay, so number one, I gotta say you have Down syndrome.
Ah,
Number two,
well,
to
bitch.
respond to the actual
Anyway, so go
question,
on.
you asked me for my beliefs. Just stop.
Yeah, and
Relax.
instead of answering my
You asked me for
question,
my belief.
you just assaulted me.
You asked me for my belief, right?
No, I said, what's gonna
So
be the
I
degree
just
of truth in
told
that
you that I
claim?
believe that it is not universally the case. That doesn't require
Wait, so
substantiation.
you
You're still on the
contradict yourself because
positive
you
there.
say they it was okay. Go on, go on, go on, go
You're
on,
on
go
the
on, go on.
positive, not me, dude.
But still, though, even in the negative, you can still contradict things on the negative, right? Oh my
How is this
god.
relevant?
All right, so like, let me scroll up to my argument. Let me scroll up to my
Is your
argument.
brain
Hold on, I
crashing
got
out?
you. Oh, that's ironic coming from you, Paul. That's ironic coming from you.
How is that ironic?
Um,
My brain is fine.
nigga, you got stun lock. Shut up.
I'm in
All
the
right,
top
so
0.01
my
percentile of
okay.
intelligent human beings in the history of mankind. So how would that be ironic?
Wait, what? Can you prove that claim? Like, what's gonna be the ontological justification of that claim?
I don't need to prove it to you.
Wait, you do because wait,
That's not
wait, you
relevant to the
do be
debate.
wait, you do because you made a claim. So don't therefore, if you made a claim, don't you need to like? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sick.
It's not a dialectical claim, so it's irrelevant.
Wait,
It's
how
not
is
a
it?
comment.
Oh, wait, so if it's not irrelevant, why you put up the claim up? Why you on the announcement put up that
Why
claim
not just
if it's
compromise in
irrelevant?
the flow of the dialectic by just going on
Okay, so
point?
in that same logic, I could make a claim say you a bitch, and that would not be ad hominem if we're going by your logic.
No?
Okay,
Don't see what that
so
would follow.
that's you, huh? What's up? Say that
Don't see
again.
what that would follow. Give my logic.
It will follow because you made a claim or something, and I say, "What's the evidence?" And you say, "Why you need to make the evidence, even though the claim is irrelevant?" You basically say that just because the claim is irrelevant, it doesn't need an explanation. I'm saying that in that same logic, right? I could just randomly call you a bitch, and
Yeah, I can just
bitch
dismiss the
without no
claim without
explanation.
having to ask you for evidence.
Yeah, a claim is a statement. I made a statement saying that you're a
Can
bitch.
we conclude? I want to see
So
the
Yeah, but it's
logic
irrelevant,
before we
so
end the
it's not
podcast.
worth engaging with. I don't even need to ask you for evidence. It's not worth engaging with because it's irrelevant.
okay, so you basically say that it's just okay. So you basically say that it's going to be self evidence. I'm putting a question to ask. Why would that be the
No,
case of this claim?
I'm not saying that.
Okay, okay. Here's the thing, right? If you made a claim and you think that the
Sorry,
claim
how
is
old
the
are
truth
you?
itself,
Sorry, how old are you?
dude, can you let me finish? Dude, oh
How
my
old are
god,
you?
why is this a reference to one I debate? Be
Are you
professional.
like
Please
14 or something?
be professional. Can you please be professional or what?
I'm just curious.
Why you want to know what's bro? Be
Hey,
professional, bro. Can we be
please,
professional?
can we conclude, please? I want to see like the
Okay, I'm
logic
chilling.
why
It's
that
just like he
claim.
let me ask me a question.
This guy's
I.
mute.
Yes, yes,
You're
no,
actually
I
worse
am a
than
Christian, but my bad for interrupting. But I just want to see you just
you guys are worse than dog shit. Anyone else want to debate?
Yo, I'm down.
I'm this
I'm
food
done. If,
busting.
Me.
yo,
Hmm?
Apollo, I'm done if you're down. So we can run it anytime.
Do you want to debate on if the Trinity is false?
I don't believe in the Trinity.
Nah. I just
Nope.
want to debate on. I just want to debate on like God's existence, basically.
Is that DRV?
Yes.
Okay, sure. I don't know who you are. I'm just wondering who was talking. The voice call.
Yeah, it's DRV.
I want to debate.
Yeah.
Someone,
I'm just making
someone.
it clear because I don't want you to get your hopes up and think you're actually relevant because you're not a relevant person. But with that being said, yeah, just give me a moment. Let me just finish eat this food.
I want to debate.
Mm-mm-mm.
Who wants to
Mm.
debate me? What? I hope it's not some guy
Send
from
this
TikTok
recorded.
or something. Is anyone recording this? And can you guys hear me clearly? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, buddy.
I want to
Okay,
debate.
that's
Yo, Apollo, that nigga Demar said he wants to debate you too. He called you ass or something in the chat. I don't know, but he said he wants to debate you.
I never said he was ass, but I did say I wanted to debate.
This
Demar, call me ass.
instigation, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, Demar said he was ass. I don't know why he's saying that. It's low-key kind of weird, but it's whatever.
I mean, against Apollo, I don't know why.
All right.
When I
We'll
had,
see who is asking the debate.
I mean, I literally just said Apollo won a debate, so why would I be coming here? So I obviously think he's a good debater. Just because I won a debate on it doesn't mean I uphold a bias and call them ass like you.
Best is because
Give me a
Damar's
second.
on the phone, bro. If you're on PC, it'd be different, bro.
So, y'all want me to change my mic or something? What do with your? All right, hold on. I'm gonna make a mic. I got something.
I don't know. Maybe you're gonna like better Discord, bro.
Are you ready? Are you still eating your food, Apollo? Is he there? Hello? Oh boy.
Focus, do you want to debate DRV instead?
Oh my god, bro. Bro, I started
Who's
recording.
that?
Do this.
If you can
After,
beat Focus, I'll debate you.
yeah, after you and Demar are done, cause he was talking shit. Yeah, sure.
Tomorrow.
I'm eating right now, dude.
Oh, okay. So DRV, you want to debate?
Yeah, I'm debating
All
on.
right. All right. What's your stance?
Yeah, so I'm a global skeptic on God's existence. So obviously, I'm giving like a negation from ontological design and also like cosmological like arguments for God. So I'm just like a global skeptic for like God's existence. So if you want me to like give it like a much more specific like argument, I can do that if you want.
Okay, you're skeptical about what God? Like, what do you think that God is?
Yeah, I'm just skeptical about the concept of God in the sense that I don't think that the concept of God is a necessary entity that explains fundamental existence. I just think that the concept of God is like obviously it's presupposing that existence requires some sort of first mover or some sort of external force or external kind of thing that can generate like existential properties. So that would be just like my base premise.
All right. Well, I think that God is a first cause and is omnipotent. Do you disagree with that?
So you're taking the cosmological argument. I disagree with that.
When did I say I'm taking the cosmological argument? I just gave the definition for God.
Okay, yeah, I know, but I'm saying that your definition for God is gonna invoke a cosmological argument. So
Wait, my what for God? I can't hear you. You have like an
you're
accent.
claiming that God is a first, like obviously, like it's a first cause, right?
Yes.
So that will be obviously it invokes cosmological arguments. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's
Wait,
a
it
cosmological argument. I'm saying
it invokes a cosmological argument.
yes.
How?
because cosmological arguments are trying to explain causal principles, right?
Okay, but who said? Okay, what do you mean by cosmological argument?
I'm talking about like infinite regress arguments.
Okay, who said I was gonna use that?
I don't know. I mean, it could be. I mean, there are many ways. Like there's infinite regress, there's brute fact objection.
I mean, that's not what I'm gonna argue, but
I mean, there's multiple, but all I'm saying it's a cosmological argument. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what you mean by cosmological argument. You mean the definition of God that I gave? Wait, how does the definition that I gave? How does that mean it's a cosmological argument? What does that even mean?
I'm not saying it's a cosmological argument. I'm saying that your premise is very similar to cosmological.
That's not a premise. I didn't give a premise. I gave my definition of God.
Okay, but your definition from God is gonna entail some sort of cosmological entailment, right? Because I know that when
So you're saying that given my definition of God, it has a cosmological entailment that this God is the first cause of the universe?
yes, I'm just giving a description.
You
can disagree with that. That's fine. I'm giving you a description.
I mean, you could just like word it like that. But yes, obviously, if God is the first cause, then He's gonna be the cause of the universe, and the universe came from God. But yeah. All right, here's the argument. So yeah, so anything is either mind dependent or mind independent. That's just true via the law of excluded middle. God is a thing. Therefore, God is either mind dependent or mind independent. Do you disagree?
No.
Okay, you don't disagree. So God is either mind dependent or mind independent. It would be a contradiction to state that God is mind dependent. Therefore, He has to be mind independent.
Okay, so you're using an argument that God has to be mind dependent. Is that your argument?
He has to be mind independent, yes, because there would be a contradiction that's entailed by Him being mind dependent.
Why is the contradiction if it's because I don't
Yeah, because the definition of God is the first cause. If God was caused by something prior, like a mind, then it just would be the case that God would not be the first cause. So you're saying that there's a caused first cause, which is a contradiction. So that's a P and not P right there.
It's not a P and not P. You're presupposing.
It is a P and not P. Do you want me to write it out in the chat?
Sure. You're
Okay.
presupposing. Oh my god.
First cause. Yeah, hold up, my nigga. First cause is caused. There you go. That's the P and not P. The first cause is caused. That's a P and not P contradiction. So.
You typed it out?
Yeah, I typed it out in general chat. It's just the first cause, which is P, is cause. But yeah. Oh, I'm unlimited. Let's go. I can type. Just realized.
Okay, so first of all, it's still a presupposition. You do understand that your predicates are presuppositions, right?
Well, I'm presupposing what?
You're presupposing that some sort of God. You're presupposing that some sort of God has some sort of properties, right?
Yeah, well, that was already entailed with the first conclusion or the first part of the argument, which you said you didn't disagree with. So sorry. So given that it's just the case that God does actually have properties and some sort of semantic content, which would entail Him being a thing. If He's a thing, which means that He has some sort of identity. It would just follow via the law of excluded middle that this thing's identity would have to be either spatial or non-spatial, as well as either being mind-dependent or mind-independent. If it is the case that God is mind-dependent, that P and not P contradiction right there would go through. Contradictions can never go through. Therefore, God is mind-independent. Therefore, you lost the debate. GG's.
First, first of all, you have not won anything. You've made a lot of category errors. You talk about thing, right? When you talk about some sort of thing, first of all, you're going to have to talk about
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let me finish. You're going to have to talk about the range, right, of the entities or the ontological status of the dependency framework.
I cannot hear what the fuck you're saying. I'm going to have to talk about the what?
You're going to have to talk about, when you say thing, right? Thing ranges, right, over the kind of entities with ontological status, right?
Wait, a thing is an entity with ontological status? Is that what you said?
No, I'm saying thing. What you're talking about, thing, right? Oh my god. When you say people, right, God is a thing, right? Did you not say
Yes.
that God is a thing?
Yes, which you agreed to the first part of the argument earlier on. So yeah, what about it?
Yeah, so you said that God is a thing, so obviously that's a category error, because obviously thing
Wait,
ranges.
how is that a category error?
Yeah, and that's what I'm explaining right now. Thing ranges over entities with ontological status, right?
Wait, so just to be incredibly clear, do you not think that something that is omnipotent as the first cause has some sort of ontological status, even if conceptual?
No, because obviously if you say you're talking
Is he
classical
retarded?
theism, I'm not. Classical theism treats God as not an item within the framework, so it's not even gonna be like, it depends on the dependence relations. Obviously, when you say God is a thing, right?
Wait, what do you think it means to have ontological status?
Ontological status, I'm talking about the dependence on the particular framework. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. So what does that mean? Like, what does that mean for like an entity, like God, for example?
When you say thing without no specification of the framework, you could be talking about different.
Wait. Are you asking like what I mean by a thing? I can just give you my definition of a thing if it's like that hard to understand.
I mean, sure. Yeah, what's the definition of a thing?
Yeah, my definition of a thing is just anything that has semantic content or any sort of properties whatsoever, whether it be conceptual or actually physical in the real world.
I mean, okay, sure. That means that it still applies to my counter, because my counter is saying that you're treating God as not a thing, right?
No, God is a thing. I am treating God as a thing. What are you talking about? It's what premise 2 is of A1.
No, because you're...
Yes, the fuck it is, my nigga. If you look right here in A1, premise 2, it says God is a thing. It literally just says God is a thing. You're just trying to say I'm treating God as being not a thing. Are you crazy?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the ontological status of that thing is empty. You're not giving me any particular...
How is it empty? I literally just gave you the properties of God. Like, what? Is this nigga crazy?
Okay, let me just make this clear. Let me clear to you. When you talk about this particular... When you say thing, right? Thing, I'm trying to make this easy for you. When you say thing, right, it ranges, right, with over entities with ontological status inside the dependency framework. So
hold on. I gotta locomute this nigga. Wait, bro, this nigga's so loud. What'd you say?
Okay, let me type this out because I feel like...
Yeah, bro, it's like I can't tell, my nigga.
My accent is too strong, I think.
Yeah, and you sound like a nigga from like Wakanda or something, nigga.
Oh, yo,
Any ranges over entities' ontological status inside the dependency framework to be items that can stand in dependency. Is that supposed to be like an argument?
I'm just giving you like the category error you made.
Okay. Thing ranges over entities' ontological status inside the dependency framework. Typically, items can stand with dependency relations. Classical theism is not an item. Wait. So, just to be like super clear, are you saying that under classical theism, God wouldn't be categorized as a thing, right?
No, I'm not saying it's not categorized as a thing. I'm saying that God will not have any kind of dependence relation. So obviously, the grounding of that particular thing, right, will be the being itself. Will not be when classical theism.
So God wouldn't be caused by anything, or God wouldn't depend on anything.
Of course, because obviously.
Yeah, no shit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So what's the issue with that? So what's the issue? What's the issue with a being that's uncaused being? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, what's the issue with somebody being uncaused, being existent as a thing? What's the issue?
Yeah, because you're making a semantic mismatch, right?
Yeah. Okay. What's the semantic mismatch?
Yeah, you're saying that. Okay, you're saying that. One, you're saying that
Jesus.
like let me speak. God, holy shit! I don't wanna blunder. Yeah, you're saying that this particular entity, God, right? You're trying to treat it as if it exists within the particular framework in which you're dealing with. When you look usually within classical theist systems, God is usually a being that operates out of the system because you're claiming that God is the first cause.
Wait.
So
Yo. Do you know what I mean when I say God is the first cause?
Yes, you're saying.
Okay. That means that all things that were caused are derived from God. That's what that means, right?
I mean, not trivially. No, it doesn't mean that.
Well, okay. Well, I just clarified it to you right there. I mean, typically that's what people mean when they say that God is the first cause, right? Meaning they're like all things that were caused, God would just come before them, and He would be the one that actually causes them, right? Because like you wouldn't say that God is the first cause of the laws of logic, because you wouldn't say that the laws of logic were even caused in the first place, right?
that would be another argument you have to defend. Then you have to
Wait.
defend.
What would have to be argued to defend? The laws of logic not being caused?
No, not that. You're trying to claim that there is some sort of substantive difference between the laws of logic and existence itself. So I mean that.
Wait. What are you talking about? How?
When people talk about the laws of logic, they're invoking that these particular things are entities that can be measured, right? So obviously,
When did I say that?
all I'm saying is that the laws of logic function within a particular kind of like framework. And obviously, if you're dealing with a particular framework in which you're analyzing some sort of God as a causal system in which God is the first cause, right? There's still going to be some sort of semantic logic to how that particular cause is actualized. So all I'm saying is that the first cause of God is something that is you have to give it some sort of para-consistent scape in which you're talking about how if you're trying to allow that some logics, right, allow contradictions to be entailed without any kind of triviality, right? So let's say if there's a contradiction that's entailed, that doesn't automatically make the system or the position false. So obviously,
wait. So are you saying that just because there's a contradiction, that doesn't automatically mean that it's false?
No, I'm saying that I'm saying that some logics, right, para-consistent logics, allow contradictions to be entailed without any kind of triviality. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. So I know you're saying that, right? I know you're saying that. I'm asking you how that applies to my argument. I'm just assuming that applies to the part where I said that God being mind-dependent is a contradiction. If so, what does that have to do with the quote-unquote category area that I mean when I said that God is a thing, even though it's just analytically entailed from the definition of God that God is a thing?
Yeah, of course, we're easy. All I'm trying to say is that, like, when you're talking about, let's say, a contradiction is entailed, like if you're saying that this particular God, right, is the first cause, and then there's no particular contradiction with that, right, you have to prove to me that obviously if all the contradictions are false, in which all contradiction or all possibilities that there's no God exists, will not be first of all, it will not be a universally accepted necessity. It still begs the questions against like just normal.
But I'll have to prove there's no contradiction with what?
A contradiction that explains to you why the negation of the existence of God is obviously going to be a counterfactual claim to why the particular first cause is, or to why God.
Yo, bro, man, you're gonna have to slow down, man. You sound like Black Panther. So like, just go ahead and repeat that, but like slow down a little bit.
Okay.
Wait, Yadi, hold up. Yadi, one second. Yeah, DRV, what'd you say? Go ahead and repeat that.
I'm gonna make this in two lines, right? This is the first one. It's either trivially valid, right, or irrelevant.
Is what trivially valued?
The existence of God, right? The existence.
You didn't say that before, but is the existence of God trivially valued?
The existence of God, one, is either trivially valid, right, but irrelevant or unsound due to a false dichotomy, right? Or two.
What are you talking about, my nigga?
I'm talking about your premise. Your premise is invoking. Obviously, you're invoking.
Okay, which premise?
P1, right? You're talking
P1?
about
P1 of A2 or A1?
No, I'm just talking about P1 of A1.
Yeah, of A1 or A2. Oh, okay. So you're talking about A1 of premise 1. Okay, you realize you already agreed to like all of A1, right? When I asked you like earlier, you trying to like backtrack or something? Because like you realize like it puts you in a headlock.
I mean, to be fair, wait, hold on. To be fair, I disagree with the premise of A1, but I'm just trying to give an.
Wait, but I asked you. I named off. I like completely read out P1, P2, and the conclusion. I said, "Do you have any disagreements with that?" And you said no. So then I moved on to A2.
My contradiction still applies to A2, by the way. So I don't know what you're trying to.
Wait, your contradiction applies to A2. You said you have a contradiction, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the P and not P?
Yeah, so the contradiction here is, right, you're claiming that, obviously...
Go ahead and write it out, the P and not P, go ahead and write it out.
Sure.
Okay. Yo, Jalen. Yo, you got 20 minutes until 116. So
I typed it in the chat. You can see it.
the ultimate ground. If God is mind dependent, God is both prior. Yo, my nigga. Am I bugging? Did he not just give an argument like for God existing right there? That's the argument I'm using. That argument right there just establishes that God existing purely mind dependently would entail a contradiction, and then he literally gives the contradiction that's entailed by it below. Am I bugging? I'm not bugging, right?
I've literally given the contradiction at the end. What are you talking about?
No, you wrote at the bottom, you said contradiction. P, God is prior to all minds. Not P, God is not prior to all minds. Yeah, that's the P and not P that I'm giving. That's the exact contradiction I'm trying to give to justify that God does exist. Like, what? I'm not tripping, right? Did he not just give, like, my argument for God pretty much, but, like, worded differently?
Yeah, I'm recording ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did he not just do that?
Yeah, but I'm telling you why the contradiction. I'm telling you why the contradiction fails, right? I'm saying that.
Wait. Just to be clear, I asked you for a P and not P because you said that you had a contradiction. So I asked you for the P and not P, and the only P and not P you actually did give one though. You gave a P and not P, but the only one that you gave is one that would actually just justify God existing even more.
Which one did I give?
You said P, God is prior to all minds, and not P is God is not prior to all minds. Yes, exactly. That's the contradiction that would be entailed by God being mind dependent, which is exactly what you wrote inside of your little syllogism right there.
Okay, so is that not a contradiction for A to P1?
Wait. So that contradiction you gave right there is only a contradiction to God being mind dependent, which is what I'm arguing for. That's what I'm arguing. I'm arguing that God is mind independent, not mind dependent. So you just gave my argument.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm giving a descriptive claim, and it's not even the contradiction I just gave is not even it's not. First of all, I'm giving a contradiction that explains that your particular premise, right? Obviously, you don't entail that mind dependent means that dependent on a distinct mind, right? Obviously, that's the problem here. So the whole thing fails, right? Obviously, you're not even tracking that. I'm saying that the hidden premise. Hold on. The hidden premise of my premise is just trying to say that mind dependent, right? It does not necessarily entail that dependent on a distinct mind. That's what I'm saying.
So wait. So just to be clear, right? What am I trying to argue for?
You're trying to say that God, obviously, which is the distinct mind, right, is prior to all minds. That's your argument. But
when did I say that God was a mind?
I'm saying that based on A to P1, God would be. Oh my God! Do you want me to read your premise again for you?
Yeah, when did I say God had a mind?
A to P1, you should say if God were to be mind dependent, then a contradiction is entailed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. If God were to be mind dependent, yes.
Yes. So I'm just giving that particular premise fails, right? Because obviously.
Why does it fail? Yeah, okay, you say that it fails, and then you give me an argument that actually just justifies the premise. Like, what? Are you crazy?
No.
Yes, you did, my nigga. Look, I'm gonna read out your argument. Alright, everybody here, right? The reason why I'm claiming that it would be a contradiction for God to be mind dependent is for this reason right here. If God was mind dependent, it would be a contradiction because that would mean that God, being defined as the first cause, would be the first cause, meaning nothing caused it, but at the same time, a mind would be causing it, right? That's a contradiction right there. That's a P and not P. Let me read out what he said to debunk what I said, right? P1, if God is mind dependent, then God depends on minds for existence. P2, if God depends on minds for existence, then that would mean that a mind must be prior to God. God is the ultimate ground of all minds. P4, Therefore, God is no mind, or there is no mind prior to God that exists, right? P5, therefore, if God is mind dependent, God is both prior to a mind and not prior to a mind. And then he gives the P and not P contradiction. God is prior to all minds would be P, and God is not prior to all minds would be not P. Is it not literally my argument?
That's not what I'm trying to explain here. All I'm trying to give an explanation here is that.
Okay, so if that's not what you're trying to explain, then when I asked you for P and not P contradictions, you said you had. How about instead of giving a P and not P that's actually like sufficing my position, you give one that actually defeats my position? This dude's horribly confused, bro.
I'm not confused. The problem here is that when you talk about P and not P, from what I understood in the A2P1 case, is that you're giving a claim, you're giving a descriptive claim that obviously giving a descriptive claim.
A claim that.
Yeah, let me finish. You're giving a description that if God was to be minded, you're saying if God was to be minded. So you say it's a how you call it? It's a conditional case, right? You're saying that if God was to be minded, so obviously it's gonna be, if you have to give a logical extension of that, right? Jesus. It's gonna be counterfactually false because you're saying that if God was minded, so there is no particular premise that justifies, or there's no particular predicate that justifies that God has to be, or God is necessarily mind dependent or not. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
so
there is. Yes, there is. It says then a contradiction is entailed, and then it says contradictions are always false. That's literally like the premise that justifies it. Okay.
No, I'm talking about the properties that explain why that God is neither mind dependent or mind dependent. There's still no predicate.
So just to be clear, are you questioning whether or not God is either mind dependent or mind independent?
No, I'm saying that why does mind dependency? Why does it why does it generate let's say facts that increase the probability of your statement being true? That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, so again, right here, the thing that you literally just gave, right? The thing that you just wrote in chat that actually helps me, being mind dependent would entail a contradiction, meaning it is 100% the case that God is mind independent. There you go. So the probability is raised by 100%. It's certain.
Nah, it's not.
Okay, well, that's not really a very good argument, is it?
Okay, I have a better one for you. I have a better one for you in the chat. Read the new one up in the chat.
Okay, let's see. God depends on mental activity. Whatever depends on mental activity being abstract, I don't know about that, but... Wait, what do you mean that God is concrete? What is that supposed to mean?
Concrete just means that it has a determinate structure. So it has
Is it physical?
No, I just said determinate. Why do you assume that's physical? What?
Because I can't hear what you're saying because you're African as fuck. You probably like worship fucking big ass fucking elephants with multiple elbows on a tree and shit, right?
What's racism?
Anyway, how is that being racist?
You're Chad. You guys are seeing the racism, right?
How's that being racist, nigga?
You're literally...
You just worship weird ass gods like fucking elephant gods and niggas that like stand on one leg and shit.
I'm Christian, bro.
And you wear like fucking long ass fucking metal neck rings around your neck and shit, and have long ass fucking ear piercings, ear fucking tubes and shit, right? So, anyways, you know, like are you arguing that God exists or God doesn't exist?
I'm arguing that God doesn't exist, of course.
You're arguing that God does not exist?
Yes.
Then why are you giving arguments in chat that justify that God does exist?
What? My conclusion for this new premise is saying that God is, God is either casually efficacious or not, right? How is it justifying God?
My nigga, you realize that both the arguments you gave literally just justify that God is not mind dependent?
I'm talking about a different premise. Yeah, I'm talking about mental. I'm referring to I'm talking about casual efficiency.
Wait. So again, right? Wait, again. So, are you saying that because it is the case that God is casually efficacious, that means that God is not mind dependent?
No, that's not what I said.
That's literally, bro, my nigga. If you read your fucking argument, that's literally what it says.
I'm talking about mind. I'm talking about the distinction between mind involving and abstract. I'm saying that something can still be mind involving and not be abstract at the same time. I'm saying that there's a clear distinction between when something is mind and abstraction. When you say something is the mind, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's an abstraction like this. It doesn't mean there's an abstraction taking place, right? So all I'm giving conclusion is that either God is casually.
Wait, so are you saying that something can be mind dependent and not abstract?
Yeah, of course.
Then how come the P2 of your argument says whatever depends on mental activity is abstract?
Yes, because I'm saying that P3, like I said, P3, God is concrete, meaning that.
Wait, no, my nigga, you're trying to like jump around. This is your premise to it. Okay, everybody right here, right? Did this nigga not just say that you can have things that are mind dependent that are not abstract? He said that, right?
Yes, that is why the
premise. Okay, wait, so if he said that, so why is this his premise too right here? That's his premise too that he just gave.
No, I'm saying that. Oh my god, I'm saying that premise fails because minds alone, right?
Premise 2 fails of what? My argument or the argument you just gave?
No, your argument. I'm saying your P2
fails. Okay. My P2 fails, alright? Why does it fail?
Yes, it fails because obviously when we're talking about minds themselves, right? Minds themselves does not necessarily mean that it's mental. That's all I'm saying. So if you're saying that God...
Wait, okay, what do you think I mean when I say the mind?
I mean, when you say the mind, obviously you're referring to some sort of abstraction or some sort of aid.
Wait. I'm referring to some sort of abstraction. What do you mean abstraction?
No,
I think that it's entirely possible that minds are physical.
Okay, fine. But mind is directly the most fundamental phenomenal construct of the mind is abstraction. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Wait. What do you mean abstraction? Do you mean like lacking spatial properties?
No, abstraction just means that there is some sort of phenomenal let's say there's some sort of phenomenal process, right, that is occurring without any necessary contact with an external world. That's what I'm saying.
So you're saying that part of the mind, you're saying that the mind has a process that doesn't happen in the external world?
No, I'm saying that mind does not necessarily mean abstract.
Okay. So that argument that you gave right there is your argument, right? Which is supposed to be like providing like some sort of like reductor or defeater to my argument.
I mean, it is a defeater because your argument.
It is a defeater. So you just said
it's positing that
there is physical things that can be mind dependent or non-abstract things, because you use abstract in a weird way. So you just told me in this call, in front of my face, in front of everybody in this call, that there could be things that are mind dependent but also not abstract. But then in the premise 2 of your argument, which you just agreed is supposed to be defeated to my argument, not some sort of parody, you say that whatever depends on mental activity is abstract. Contradicted yourself in front of everybody. And then you said right here, just to like further like justify what I'm saying, your P1 is this: if God is mind dependent, God depends on mental activity. So you're saying that anything that's mind dependent depends on mental activity, right? And then you say whatever depends on mental activity is abstract. So by that logic, being mind dependent means that you are abstract. That's what it means, like given your own argument. So if you're saying that if something is, or all things are mind dependent, or if all things are mind dependent, then things are abstract. But then you just told me to my face that there can be some things that are mind dependent but not abstract. That's a contradiction.
That the product. Okay, did you see what I wrote? I ended why the premise fails, right? Why the contradiction?
My nigga, okay, did you not contradict yourself with what you just wrote in the chat? Yes or no?
Myself, I was saying that your contradiction is a false contradiction.
So just to be clear, right? You admitted that argument you gave was your own argument. I don't know why you're raising your voice if I don't bitch you in this call, faggot.
Jesus.
Yeah, shut up, African bitch. Anyways, right?
Look, you
sound like you're about to cry, bitch. Shut the fuck up, faggot, ugly ass nigga. Anyways, right? African ass nigga with long ass fucking dirty fucking fingers, right? Yeah, you wipe your ass with a leaf, faggot. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Ugly ass nigga. Anyways, your mic cut out, loser. You have on noise suppression, broke ass nigga. So if we look right here, right, I'm just going to show this to everybody, right? Let's just let me just copy and paste your argument. I'm going to actually use his argument to justify God's existence, right? Let me go up to the, right, because I thought maybe this was like a parody of my argument. Apparently it's not a parody, it's his own argument supposed to defeat my argument, right? Let's go through it. I'm actually going to argue that his argument justifies God's existence, right? If God is mind dependent, then God depends on minds for existence. Yep, that's true. If God depends on minds for existence, then the mind would be prior to God. Yep, that's true. God is the ultimate ground of all minds. That's his premise 3, right? Then his premise 4 is, therefore, no mind is prior to God. That's true. P5 is, therefore, if God is mind dependent, God is both prior to the mind and not prior to the mind. Contradiction is that God is prior to the mind and not prior to the mind, right? That would therefore have to mean that God is mind independent. So by using his own argument that he gave in the chat that he was trying to use against me, it justified that God does exist. So you're utterly fucking confused, right? You gave an argument that would actually justify my position. I think he's retarded. I think that since he said he was a Christian just earlier in the debate, right? He said he was a Christian. I think that he may have accidentally went to his little fucking private argument server, his little notepad, and copy and pasted an argument for God existing in a debate where he's trying to argue that God does not exist, right? That's a fucking horrible blunder, right? So I think that you just slipped up. You did horrible in this discussion. You should probably just give up, right? Because you just justified that God exists with your own argument. So what do you have to say about that?
Okay, first of all, I didn't. That's a very huge category error. I was talking about the dependency of one's own mind, right? The dependency of one's own mind does not necessarily generate a priority paradox.
You said all minds, by the way, in the argument.
Do you know what a priority paradox is?
Wait, just to be clear, you said all minds in the argument. Yeah, you did.
I'm talking about God's mind, whatever. I'm talking about God's
Wait. You're talking about God's mind, but you're talking about God is dependent upon a mind, and then you say all minds, which would infer you're talking about multiple minds. So you're talking about God being dependent upon all minds, which again infers multiple minds, and then you're trying to say, okay, I'm talking about God's mind, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about, man. You don't even know what your own argument is. This is horrible.
No, okay. I think I'm gonna have to explain this because this is. I'm gonna do this quickly and leave because this is really.
What?
Do you know what a priority paradox is?
Okay, how is that relevant to what I just brought up and how I explained that you just justified that God exists?
Okay, it is relevant because when you talk about this is the core thesis, right? This is the core thesis. When you say dependent on one own mind, right? The nature it does not generate a priority paradox or a logical contradiction, right? A priority paradox.
Wait. What does not? Wait, nigga. Calm down. It does not generate what kind of contradiction?
A logical contradiction.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From what propositions?
Because propositions is because first of all, when we talk about a logical contradiction, it only arises if an entity is required to both be ontologically prior and posterior to a distinct entity in the same respect. Do you know what that means? Okay.
Go ahead and repeat that, but a little bit slower because you have a strong ass fucking accent.
Oh my god! It just means a priority paradox or a logical contradiction only arises if an entity is required to both be ontologically prior and posterior to a distinct entity in the same respect.
Okay, so just in short, right? Again, it's kind of hard to understand because your accent. I'm just gonna try to translate. Are you saying that paradox that you said I couldn't hear how you pronounced it? That paradox you said only generates a contradiction when you're referring to a being that is both prior to a mind and after a mind? Is that what you said? Hello?
No, I don't think that's not what I'm saying. I think you're not getting it.
Yeah, I'm not getting you, nigga. I wonder why I'm not getting you. You sound like Killmonger, my nigga.
I'm just gonna type it out because there's no point talking to you right now.
Alright, let's see, bro.
I don't know why you're so condescending, though. I don't even use insults. I don't get your point.
How is that condescending, bro?
You keep calling me nigger, bro. I'm literally black.
I did not call you a nigger. I said you sound like Killmonger. Depends on one's own mind or nature, does not generate priority paradox, logical contradiction. Wait. So just to be clear, are you trying to argue that just because God depends on his own mind, that means that there's no contradiction?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
Like, you could have at least made that argument, but you're making some other dog shit argument. All right, let's see, bro.
okay, I'm just follow the conclusion. I'm saying that the dependency, right, of God's own mind does not generate a logical
Wait. That presupposes that God has a mind. And that's what I just said, by the way. I literally just said that. Like, I just said that, are you arguing that just because God is dependent upon his own mind, that means that there's no contradiction? And then you said, no, that's not what you're saying. And then you literally just say it. Like, that's what you're arguing.
I'm talking about the identity relations that exist between mind independency and mind dependency. These are identity relations that do not generate an asymmetric property, right?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. You're just trying to like sound like pseudo-intellectual because you know damn well I just caught you contradicting yourself, right? That was entirely just irrelevant to like the contradiction you just made. It's pretty embarrassing, right? I can just give literally the P and not P contradiction of how you just contradicted yourself. But anyways,
Okay,
if you're saying that there is no paradox or my bad, there's no contradiction that is arise from God being dependent upon his own mind, then I would just have to ask you, when did I make the claim that God has a mind?
Okay, I'm going to make this easy. All I'm saying is that the depender, when you talk about when we talk about it, I'm not talking about dependency here. All I'm saying, based on P1 here, is that when we're talking about it, when we're talking about a particular,
you are talking about dependency.
Yes. So
you just said you weren't talking about dependency just now.
No, I'm talking about the particular error you're making. I'm saying that you're trying to conflate dependency as some sort of thing that can generate, right? Dependency can generate a certain kind of distinct fact that separates the entity from its mind. So I'm saying that there is no particular asymmetrical distinction.
Wait, again. You're trying to like presuppose that God has a mind. When did I make the claim that God has a mind?
I never said God has a mind. I'm saying that
you're talking about God and its mind. You keep saying God and its mind, or God being dependent upon its mind. You keep saying its mind. I never even said that God has a mind.
All I'm saying is that the depender, right? The depender and the ground in which it's dependent is like you're claiming that the particular depender, right, which is God, right, and the ground in which which is obviously the contradiction the contradiction in which you're saying that God cannot be prior or posterior of minds, right? You're going to have to ground that as if they're identical, but they're not identical. The dependency of one's own nature or mind does not introduce a distinct relation. That's what I'm saying. It does not.
So you're saying that something being dependent upon a mind does not entail a contradiction?
No, I'm saying that you're assuming that the depender and the ground in which that particular mind is dependent on is identical. So let me explain to you.
Identical to what? Identical to what?
I'm saying ontologically identical. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh my God. Identical to what?
Identical to the baseline counterfactual fact exists or not. I'm talking about the ontological existence in which God.
You're so pseudo-intellectual. It's not even funny, my nigga. Like, just keep going, bro. You're so like pseudo-intellectual. It's literally just like so embarrassing, my nigga. Like, you contradicted yourself like 10,000 times. Now you're trying to derail again because you said something else that was really retarded. Then when I ask you a question, you go ahead and ramble about something that's even more irrelevant than the previous thing that you said, which was also irrelevant, my nigga. Like, this is horrible, my nigga. Like, first of all, right, you said that you had a P and not P contradiction to my God existing, and then you give my argument for God existing. Like, that's actually going to contradict it. Like, how crazy would I look if you gave an argument for God not existing, and I'm like, yeah, I have a contradiction to that, God does exist, and I give an argument that satisfies that God does not exist, and I just repeat your exact argument? How crazy would I look? I would look like a fucking retard, or I would look like a dipshit, right? So why are you sitting here wasting everybody's time saying a bunch of bullshit that has nothing to do with the topic, right? What you're saying right now is completely pseudo-intellectual bullshit. It's completely derailed. It's entirely dog shit, right? It's not a good argument whatsoever. I'm waiting for an actual good argument against God's existence, right? Because again, you contradicted yourself. I can explain why. The reason why is because you kept trying to talk about how God being dependent upon his mind, you said this multiple times verbatim, his mind entails no contradiction, when I never even made the claim that God does have a mind. And when you realize I didn't actually make that claim, you try to say, oh no, I'm not talking about God's mind, when you literally were, because you said it verbatim like 15,000 times. Like, what are you doing, bro? Hello?
I'm trying to formalize this into an argument, but I can't. I really can't speak to you, dude. You're just gibbering.
How am I gibbering?
Do you remember what I said about priority paradoxes? What the priority paradox?
Wait. Just to be clear, Nino ontological. Are you asking, like, do you think I'm trying to say that God doesn't exist just because he's mind dependent? I'm not saying that, by the way. I think that even if God is mind dependent, he does exist, but I'm not arguing like that. I'm arguing that God exists mind independently specifically. I'm not making the claim that God, if he's mind dependent, he doesn't exist. I never said that. I think that all things exist, but I think that they just exist either mind dependently or mind independently. Dependence on one's own mind collapses. It's not generate a contradiction. Was that like what you want to be like attack right there? Like, were you still going? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, 1 second. I'm trying to. I don't know why this thing is not. Can you guys give me an app that I use to make like formal logical like symbolic logic stuff? What do you guys usually use?
None. We just use our brains, but just ask like ChatGPT or something.
I don't use ChatGPT.
In that little thing that you just gave, you said that something cannot generate a contradiction. What can't generate a contradiction? Hello?
Mm-hmm.
What cannot generate a contradiction?
Yeah, a priority paradox, right? What I'm talking about.
Okay, what's a priority paradox?
A logical contradiction.
Okay, so the priority paradox is the logical contradiction. What's the logical contradiction?
What?
Yeah, what's the logical contradiction?
Yeah, the logical contradiction is that we're talking about the.
Wait, hold on. I can't hear you, my nigga. You're just gonna have to give me a second. Let me like. Second. Alright, what'd you say?
Okay.
The contradiction is what?
Okay, let me explain. A priority paradox, right, is when two different things, right, are supposed to come before the other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. So priority in this case is that it comes first. So like A depends on B, so therefore B comes first. Do you understand that?
Yeah, of course. But like, how does that like tie into my argument?
Yeah, so normally people will say if God is mind dependent, right? So God must depend on the mind, and that mind must be prior to God. But if the mind is God's own mind, then
God doesn't have a mind in this case. I'm never making the claim that God has a mind, so the argument doesn't work.
Okay. I'm just giving the
okay, well, the contradiction wouldn't apply here if it has to do with God's mind because it doesn't exist.
Okay. So the problem is that you're saying that God does not depend on the mind, so God depends on something else, right?
No, God's just mind independent.
Okay, so God does not depend on any mind, right? God does not.
Nope.
God. Okay, yes, that's what you're saying. So obviously, what you'll be saying here is that God what you're going to say that God is both before and after something else. So it's going to be both prior and not prior, which is going to be a paradox.
That's not what I'm saying.
You're saying that God depends on God.
I'm saying that God depends on God.
Yes.
I think that God is just independent ontologically.
Yeah, so God depends on God, right?
I don't know what that's supposed to mean. I don't just mean that like God depends on God, because I would just like kind of entail that God came before God, which is a logical contradiction. I'm just saying simply that God is and God does exist. There's no contradiction with that. There's no contradiction saying that God is simply just independent of all things ontologically. Same way how like the law of identity would be, right?
Or it's not, because your claim here is that God came before any other kind of minds, right?
Yeah.
God prior to minds. But
Yeah.
if God prior to minds, the contradiction here is that God will have to depend on something, right?
Wait, how would God have to depend on something?
Yeah, because the contradiction here is that you're making a claim that minds depend on God, and then God is that particular thing that does not depend
Wait,
on.
when do I say that minds depend on God?
Okay, I'm saying that God. Okay, I'm saying that if you're claiming that God is mind independent, right?
Yes.
So that means, right? You're saying that God does not. Well, you're saying that God depends on God. That's what it means. If God is mind independent, that means that God depends on itself, right?
God is not. Wait. Okay, when you say depends on Himself, God was not created by God or not sustained by God. Because that entails that again, God came before God. That's not what I'm saying, right? And you just keep repeating that. I'm not saying that, so just like stop saying that. It's like kind of embarrassing.
Why?
Why is it embarrassing? Hello.
I'm asking, yeah, why? Why is it embarrassing?
Yeah, it's embarrassing because I told you like 10,000 times that that's not what I'm saying at all. I never even made the claim that God had a mind in the first place. Then you realize that now you're trying to say that God would have to depend on God, which is just not at all entailed by what I said.
Okay, let me just ask you a very simple question. If you're claiming that God is mind independent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you claiming that? Are you claiming that God is like God does not? Okay, so you're saying that God does not depend on any kind of like, it doesn't have any kind of like abstraction, right? It doesn't have any kind of like it doesn't have any ontology. Like what do you mean by it being mind independent? That's what I don't understand. You're just not
Okay,
God.
being mind independent, like, so for example, right, something that's mind dependent would be like a unicorn. It doesn't actually exist in the real world. It exists only in the minds. If all minds were to suddenly get wiped out from every being that exists, then the unicorn would have no more existence. If it would be the case that a tree existed in the real world outside of the mines and all mines were to just go blank or get wiped out, the tree would still be there in some sort of way, right? It just wouldn't be within any mines. I think God exists in a way as to where even if there were no mines, God would still exist externally.
Okay, so you're saying that if God is mind independent, his existence isn't grounded in any kind of mental activity, right?
Yes.
So what grounds God's agency?
I never said that God has agents. Like what?
God is the first cause, dude. He's literally the first cause.
When you say an agent, do you mean like has like a mind or like the ability to like make decisions?
No. What do you think agency means?
Exactly what I just said.
Okay, so you're saying that agency means that God has a mind, right?
That's typically how it's used. Like,
Okay, but that does
yeah.
not. First of all, agency could be used in multiple. If you're talking about
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, it can. I'm just saying how it's typically used. I'm not saying that it has to be used that way. So how do you mean it?
So you have to give me a theory why it doesn't refute God though. Like,
Wait. What did you just say?
saying it demands it. You still need a theory for explanation. It doesn't refute the argument that God exists, right?
Wait, what doesn't?
It doesn't refute the argument that God exists. Like, it doesn't.
You just repeated yourself.
I'm saying that, like, when you say that God is mind independent, you're saying that his existence isn't grounded in any kind of mental activity.
Yes, that means that he exists, just not grounded in a mind.
Yes. So what grounds his agency if he's mind independent?
I don't think he has to be grounded at all. I think he's just independent ontologically. I don't see an issue with that.
I don't think it's true with that. But I'm just
Okay, what's the contradiction?
Nah, I'm just gonna end it there because I'm tired. I need to go and sleep.
Okay. Alright, well, GG's.
Hold on, let me end work.
Okay.
Like,